Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Breeders Cup at Keeneland Racecourse. It is Friday, the 4th of November, 2022. We're going to look at all the Breeders Cup races on Friday's program from Keeneland. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Let's look at the Breeders Cup races here on Friday, races 6 through 10, all conveniently packed and in all stakes. Picked 5. The sixth race, it is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. It's a Grade 1 event going for $1 million purse. Races for 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 15 horses entered, but only 12 could go to the Keeneland Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Keeneland Turf Course. 1,100 meters, 5.5 furlongs. The portable rails are down, so just keep that in mind. And they haven't used the turf course a lot during the fall meeting at Keeneland, so it's going to be a very fresh turf course, and they haven't used the inside very often either. I believe the last time they really ran on the inside zero setting lane was, I want to say, 3 weeks ago for like a card, and that was basically it. So it's going to be, like I said, a very fresh turf course. My top selection, I left the 7-horse Oxymore here. Let's go 7-2. 5-12 in the superfecta. 7-2, 5-12 super. Top selection 7-horse Oxymore. This 2-year-old gelding by Astern here. Chad Brown trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount on this gelding. Pours the gelding on the 22nd of June of 2022. Most recently, they ran the horse at Monmouth on the 17th of September. A mile on the turf course in the now stakes. Routing that day, he finished second by half a length. He sat back early. He had the lead. He just couldn't keep up as the 40 cents to the dollar favorite. Cutting back to 5.5 furlongs, probably going to see a little faster horses on the front end with early on. I think he could stalk, and I think he get a good trip to win here today. Cutting back in trip. 2 back in the Skidmore at Saratoga, 5.5 on the Mellow on the 19th of August. He won by 1/4 lengths that day, and he was with the dueling pair that day. He got the lead, and he held on to a very nice victory. A 79 buyer for the new Chad Brown barn. I thought it was a terrific race from there. And the 1st of July at Belmont, 6 furlongs in main special weight, winning by 6.5 on the front and all throughout. He really won quite nicely. You know, his only subpar race was the now where they tried routing. Cutting back to 5.5, some decent workouts locally. I think he could really run a good race, and I think he could win. I think you also have to use him with the 2-horse Love Reigns. Wesley Ward trains this one. Ira Ortiz Jr. gets the mount. Most recently in the Bolton Landing at Saratoga, going 5.5 of the Mellon on the 21st of August. A horse won by 2.5 lengths that day, and you know, from a little bit of a wide trip from a tracking position, he won quite nicely. Before that, they ran the horse at Royal Ascot over the 5 furlongs in the Queen Mary, where the horse finished 4th by 3 lengths that day, and you know, just couldn't keep the speed late, just a little bit too keen there, but is a course and distance winner, winning over here in April in debut, winning by 9 3/4 lengths. Basically, you know, put on a show. He even missed the break, but still after that won quite nicely. Coming here today, it wouldn't surprise me. And the 5-horse Mischief Magic for William Buick and Charlie Appleby. Most recently in the Middle Park, the horse just never really got a good trip in the back of the pack, but I love the one race around the turn in the Serenia Stakes at Kempton on the poly track over the 6. It was a right-handed turn, but closed up from nowhere to win that day. If there's going to be a deep closer, it wouldn't surprise me if this horse gets a good trip. Going 5.5 on the turf at Keeneland, you need to have a good trip, and you know, and you have to have a good low post draw also. I think this horse has a good post draw. It wouldn't surprise me. Definite using that pick 5. But to recount my selection for the 6 from Keeneland, it is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Let's take the 7-horse Oxymore. Give kudos to the 2-horse Love Reigns and the 5-horse Mischief Magic. 7-2, 5-12 Super. 7-2, 5 in your pick 5. The 7th race from Keeneland, it is the NetJets Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. It's a Grade 1 event going for a $2 million purse, raced for 2-year-old fillies. A very wide open 14-horse field going 1 lap around the Keeneland main track, which is 1,700 meters in circumference, or the mile 16th trip on the Keeneland main track. 1,700 meters, mile 16th. The race starts and ends at the 16th pole, so it's a very short run to the finish from the top of the lane, so just keep that in mind. Speed really holds up, and you need to be drawn low. I'm going to take a horse that's a little wide, but not so wide. You know, it's on the brink. I'm going to take the 7-horse Chop Chop. Let's go 7-10, 5-3 in the superfecta. 7-10, 5-3 super. Top selection 7-horse Chop Chop. And you New York racing fans from years ago, if you say Chop Chop, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is Jorge Chavez. You know, one of the best riders, I thought, especially on the sprinters. When I think of of Jorge Chavez, I always think of Artax and what was the other horse? Monarchos, of course. And he also rode Flower Alley a few times. One of my favorite horses, very underrated horse. I believe he won on. I want to say he won with him in the Travers or something like that. But Chop, my Chop selection here. Two-year-old filly by City of Light. Brad Cox trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. Most recently in the dirt debut here in the Alcibiades at Keeneland over the mile 16th, the horse finished second by nose and completely, I thought, had a horrible beginning that day. Was way out of it that day. Had to go through the field stupidly wide, nearly won. Wonder Wheel just had a lot easier trip from where this horse was going early on for where this horse finished. I thought it was a terrific race. If the horse breaks well today, could get some forwardly pace. I think the horse could really have a strong chance of winning here today in second start on dirt. Two back in the Juvenile Fillies Stakes at Kentucky Downs, 1 mile yielding turf course on 3rd September. The horse won by nose, and from an easy stalking position, this horse is a little bit wide, but he got there. It was a very good race for this horse there. And then on debut at Ellis, going a mile in the main special weight, winning by 1.5 lengths, again from a tracking position. This horse took off clear. The workout pounds have been great. If the horse has a good clear trip early on, it wouldn't surprise me if this horse ends up in the winner's circle today. So we'll definitely use her along with the 10-horse Chocolate Gelato. Two-year played by Practical Joke. Tom Pletcher trains this one. Aritis Jr. gets the mounts. Most recently, I Aqueduct on the slop, 1 mile in the Furzette. The horse went by length and didn't have a lot of forwardly pace that day, but slowly moved her way up. When she got the lead, she got the job done. She's going to have to go around 2 turns for the first time. She's going to have to overcome a wide post job, but she has some forwardly pace, which I think is good for this race and for the circumference track. Two back at Saratoga, 6 furlongs, 14th of August in main special weight. She won by 8.5 lengths that day, and she could have probably went around another 5 times, earning 92 buyers. That was basically one of the better two-year-old performances of the summer at Saratoga. And then prior to that, on debut on the 14th of July at Saratoga, 5.5 in the main special weight. She finished third by 1.5 lengths. She was just a little bit wide and just a little bit lackadaisical. It took her a little bit of time to get going. But coming here today at 7-2, it wouldn't surprise me. And it also wouldn't surprise me if the 5-horse Wonder Wheel could find another winning way. She took the shortest way around last time out in the Alcibiades, where she won by a nose. She's not going to get as easy of a trip here today. But she has, I do like her over the mile 16th again. Training well. We'll give her a shot of 5-1, but like I said, that trip last time out in the Alcibiades was a very easy run. But to recount my selections for the 7th from Keeneland, it is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Gonna take the 7-horse Chop, give kudos to the 10-horse Chocolate Gelato and the 5-horse Wonder Wheel, 7-10, 5-3 Super, 7-10, 5 in your multi-race. The 8th race now from Keeneland. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. It's a Grade 1 event going for $1 million purse. Races for 2-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 16 horses going to the Keeneland main track. The Keeneland turf course. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters or a mile on the Keeneland turf course. 1,600 meters, a mile here in the Juvenile Fillies turf. My top selection, I'm going to go take the 4-horse Free Look. Let's go 4, 6, 11, 10 in the superfecta. 4, 6, 11, 10 super. Top selection of 4-horse Free Look. This 2-year-old filly back Tappet. Chad Brown trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 1st of October at Aqueduct. Mile 16th on the yielding inner turf course in the Miss Grillo. And the horse finished second by 3/4 length that day. And, had a little bit of a tough trip from a tracking position. She got bumped in the lane. She just couldn't get there late. The winner was very game that day, but she didn't go down without a fight. Coming here today, hopefully a better trip. She's run 3 times and had 3 horrible trips. Hopefully with a better trip here today, I think she could find the winner's circle. Chad Brown has done very well in this race. He's won it 5 or 6 times, and basically also the American-based horses in this race do well compared to the juvenile turf race, which is a very European. The European horses really do a lot better in that race, but the American-based do better in the Fillies juvenile turf. So I think that's good for this one, and also, like I said, Chad Brown graded this one. But 2 back, the horse ran 4th September at Saratoga, mile 16th on the inner turf course in a maiden special weight. Went by 2.5 lengths. Again, horrible break, was stupidly wide, but closed up from nowhere to win a 74 buyer. I thought it was a good race there. And then before that debut at Saratoga, mile 16th on the inner in a main special weight. finishing third by 3 1/4 lengths. Stupidly wide poster. Wanted to go. Flavian didn't want to let the horse go. Moved a little bit late, but definitely need the race for experience. I do like the workout patterns. Since coming to Keeneland, the workout patterns have been quickening up, and I think that's going to be a good thing for this horse. Watch out for this horse at the finish. I think also the 6 horse, Be Your Best, wouldn't surprise me if she finds the winner's circle. Horacio Paz trains this too, followed by Mahar. Jose Ortiz gets the leg up. Most recently, that Miss Grillo at Aqueduct on a yielding inner turf course. Mile 16th, 1st of October. She finished third by 2 3/4 lengths that day. Just a little bit wide and just, needed something. Maybe the soft ground got to her. She's going to see a lightning fast turf course, which I think she'll really adore. 2 back at Saratoga on a good inner turf course. Mile 16th in the PG Johnson. Winning by 3 3/4 lengths. She basically stalked and had a dream trip. When the gates opened in the lane, she got the job done. And then before that, Saratoga, mile 16th in on the inner and the main special weight, winning by 3 1/4 lengths. Again, a little bit wide, but she got the job done. She has a good stalking position, which I think is good in this race. She's a very good post draw. Watch out for her late. And I also think the 11 horse here for Grand Motion, Jay Laurie, has a strong chance. 2 Philly Basker performance, getting blinkers on, which I think should really do wonders from a wide poster for this horse. William Buick gets the mount. William Buick doesn't ride stateside, a lot. He has 5 mounts this year, and 4 of them have won, and a few of them have been $1 million races, so it's kind of cool. But most recently in the Talma at Woodbine, going a mile on the 17th of September, this horse had a horrible trip. She finished third by 1 3/4 lengths. She sat back early. She had a lot of traffic. She closed up to get third. With a better trip, she probably would have won, but she ran her heart out there. The debut of Clono, mile 16th in the main special weight, she won by half a dozen that day. And again, coming from behind, I thought it was a very good race. Gonna have to overcome a wide post trip, but she's gonna get blinkers on. Wouldn't surprise me if she's a little bit closer than her most recent races, mid-pack. And, it wouldn't surprise me at 12-1 if she gets the job done. Watch out for her. She's your wise guy horse. She's my kind of price play on the program from Keeneland, so we'll definitely use her there. But to recount my selection for the 8th from Keeneland, it is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Let's take the 4-horse free look. Give kudos to the 6-horse Be Your Best and the 11-horse Jay Laurie. 4, 6, 11, 10 Super. 4, 6, 11 in your multi-race. The 9th race now from Keeneland. It's your feature race on the program here on Friday. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It's a grade 1 event going for a $2 million purse. Races for 2-year-olds here. Only 10 horses in this year's Juvenile. The road to Kentucky Derby begins with this race here. But a field of 10 horses going a lap around the Keeneland main track, which is 1,700 meters in circumference, or mile 16th on the Keeneland main track. 1,700 meters and mile 1/16th here in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse here, Forte. 4-5-3-6 for me in the superfecta. 4-5-3-6 super. Top selection of 4 horse, Forte. This 2-year-old colt by Violence. Tom Fletcher trains one for Rapoli Stables. Ira Ortiz Jr. gets the mount. First start around 2 turns. First start out of New York. Came here at Keeneland on the 8th of October. Mile 16th in that Breeders' for Charity. Winning by a neck that day. This horse does not have a lot of forwardly pace, but sat back early. Excuse me, hopefully I don't lose my voice, but sat back early, was a little bit wide, but he got there in the nick of time. He fought a good race to the wire. I thought it was a very good run. Good poster here today. Would like to see this horse just a tiny bit closer with maybe possibly a lack of speed, but I think he could really, get into it. And I think he could really run a good race. One thing that I hope doesn't happen, like happened in 2020 here at Keeneland during the Breeders' Cup, was when they made the track basically a lightning lane. It was playing speed, that main track in 2020, broke track records left and right. So I hope they don't pave the track Thursday night into Friday morning, because then it will become a very weird, biased track, which I thought in 2020 was just uncalled for. But that's another bitching for another day. But 2 back in the hopeful, the horse ran Saratoga on the slop, 7 furlongs, 5th of September. This horse closed up from nowhere and won by 3 lengths. Bumped a few times, a little bit wide, but you wanted to be wide that day because this horse just floated by late, swam by late, shall I say. An all-around good race for this horse there. And then prior to that in the Sanford of Saratoga, 6 furlongs on the 16th of July. A very tough Sanford in 2021 or 2022. The horse finished 4th by 5 3/4 lengths, a little bit wide, and just showed up flat and might have needed the race there. Just maybe wasn't as good as those horses at that particular junction, but really improved with the next race, and definitely improved in that Breeders' for Charity. And then debut at Belmont at the end of May, 5 furlongs in the main special weight. Went by 7 3/4 lengths that day. The horse basically from a tracking position went quite nicely, had the speed. I do like the workout patterns going into this race. A quick half mile on 48 and 4 on the 29th best of 73. That was on the 28th of October. We're rearing to go. I'm going to use this horse here. A price horse is a 5 horse verifying for Coolmore. 2-year-old colt by Justified. Brad Cox trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. Most recently here in New York at Aqueduct on the slop. 1 mile in the Champagne. The horse finished second by 3 1/4 lengths. He stalked, he had a lead, just couldn't keep up late, just maybe a little bit flat, but he ran his heart out that day. Coming here to a mile 16th from a tracking position, we'll have one run with a short run to the finish late. I think he could really run a lot better than he did in the Champagne. Maybe just not a little bit green that day. The debut I thought was terrific on the 27th of August, Saratoga. 6 furlongs in main special weight. Went by 1 3/4 lengths on the front and all throughout. He got the job done there. Workout patterns at Churchill haven't been half bad. They think highly of the horse. They bought him for $750,000. Watch out for him here at 10-1. I think he could definitely be on the improve. And also, I think you have to watch out for the Bob Baffert Invader Cave Rock. Wouldn't surprise me if he steals it on the front end with this one. When the American Pharaoh very nicely earning a 104 buyer. When the Del Mar Futurity very nicely earning a 98 buyer there. And on debut going 6.5 at Del Mar. Got a 101 buyer in victory there. And both the Del Mar Futurity and Del Mar main special weight, the horse didn't break so well. But I'm going to have probably not get as easily as the American Pharaoh last time out. But, wouldn't surprise me if this horse wins here at 4 to 5. But it is a very short price. But to recap my selection for the night from Keeneland, it is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I'm going to take the 4-horse Forte, give kudos to the 5-horse Verifying, and the 3-horse Cave Rock, 4-5-3-6 Super, 4-5-3. In your multi-race, the 10th race, the finale on Breeders' Cup Friday from Keeneland. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. It's a grade 1 event going for $1 million purse. Races for 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 14 horses entered to go to the Keeneland Turf course. The distance of ground is 1,600 meters or a mile on that Keeneland Turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Juvenile Phillies Turf, not that. Juvenile Turf. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 1-horse Victoria Road, 1482 for me in the superfecta. 1482 super. Top selection, 1-horse Victoria Road. This 2-year-old colt by Saxon Warrior. Aiden O'Brien trains this one. Ryan Moore gets the mount. They took the horse to France most recently on the 17th of September at Chantilly. 1,800 meters, a mile and 1/8 on soft ground in the Group 3 Prix de Conde. And he won by a neck that day. And he sat back early, but he slowly moved his way up. And when he had the run, he quickened up nicely, closed up, got there in nick of time. I thought it was a very good race. Keep in mind that Prix de Conde has produced a Breeders' Cup winner in the past. So going back here today, I'm cutting back to a mile, which I think is a good trip. Going around a turn, which I think is even better, has experience around a turn with the low post drop. I think this is one of Aiden O'Brien's best chances for a Breeders' Cup victory this weekend. 2 back in the Criterium de Funds at Deauville, 1 mile on the 28th of August. The horse went by a neck that day, and he was with him early on. Basically, setting a good gallop on early on, quickened up nicely, and he got the job done. Probably won't be as furly past as it was last time out, or 2 back, but he ran terrifically there. And then main race at Gowan over the 10th of August. He won by half a length that day. And again, he was with them early on. He slowly got the turn of foot, and he got the job done in 5th calling. Took him, like I said, quite a few times to break the maiden. Before then, novice race at Nace over the 6th. He finished 4th by 2.5 lengths that day, and again, he just never really got going. Before that, he just couldn't get the good turn of foot, and then at the curve over the 6th, he just, couldn't quicken up off the front end. But he's a horse that's bred for a mile and 1/8, mile and a quarter, probably even better for him. Getting the mile here today with a good pace in front of him, I think he could really be on the improve. He's the definition of a horse. As a 2-year-old season goes on, he improves a lot, and he definitely has improved since the debut at Roscommon. At 8-1, I'm going to use him. I also love the 4-horse here, Silver Knot. This 2-year-old colt by Lupa de Vega. Charlie Appleby trains. William Buick gets the mount. A month ago, the horse ran on the 8th of October at Newmarket over the mile. on the Rolling Mile in the Group 3 Autumn Stakes. The horse went by a neck that day and sat back early. He slowly moved his way up and he got the job done. Not to flash his victories, but he got the job done there. Put an X through the race before in the Champagne at Doncaster over the 7. He did not like Soft Crown. He finished third by 5.5 lengths that day, and his wheels were spinning. It just never really got going there. And then the Group 3 Solario Stakes at Sandown over the 7, the 20th of August, went by 3.5 lengths that day. And again, he stalked, he got the lead, and he got the job done in a very easy gallop. Another horse basically on the improve. Shouldn't see Soft Ground like he saw last time out at Doncaster in the Champagne, which he didn't like. You know, at 3-1, I'm going to use him. Like I said, this is the race usually the Europeans really do wonders in. And, you know, I think this is a 2-horse race between these two. That's what I'm going to finish off this pick 5 with. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Keeneland, it is the Breeders Cup Juvenile Turf. Let's take the 1-horse Victoria Road. Give kudos to the 4-horse Silver Knot. 1482 Super, 1-4 in your multi-race. So good luck to all. Remember to join me tomorrow for Breeders' Cup Saturday preview from Keeneland, and also follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Good luck to everybody, and see you tomorrow for some more Keeneland Breeders' Cup previews. Good luck.